I'll tell everyone right here, right now, how to get fucking rich. I'm gonna tell you how to get rich, and I guarantee most of them ain't gonna fucking do it. But here's how you get rich.
Yep.
If you're a scientist, you never ever wake up, go into the lab, pour the right chemicals, and fix the problem. That doesn't happen. You go into the lab, you try some shit, it fucks up. You try some new shit, it fucks up, and you keep fucking around until something kind of works. Penicillin was a mold that grew on accident on top of an old experiment. And the dude goes, what's this mold? Oh, it's penicillin. Before you know it, you have antibiotics. So mistakes, eventually something goes well. So I say this to people, look, how many ways have you tried to earn money? You earn money X way. How many other ways have you tried? Because you need to try a whole ton of ways, and you got to make a bunch of mistakes like a scientist does to find the thing that works. And everyone's heard this before, right? And then they'll say they have two hurdles to doing that. One, they're lazy. And two, they'll say, well, I have ideas, but I don't know how to start. Or I have ideas, but I need money to start. So then what you have to do, and this is one of the things I teach on CobraTate.com in my Hustlers University, is you have to look at your business ideas and your plans and find a way to remove the need for money to attempt them. So my philosophy on business is this. Any business in the world that could genuinely work without investment. People get this idea in their head. I need loads of money. Did you start 21 Colin with loads of money?
I started with $100.
Exactly. Did no one come along to you and gave you loads of money?
If someone were to say to me from absolute ground zero, how to get rich?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a good question. So I would say do two things. The first thing I would say you should do is develop a phone addiction. And you should develop a phone addiction, but you should refuse to consume content and only create content.
Genius.
So it doesn't, I will say right here, right now, I have a genuine phone addiction.
Me too.
9-10 hours a day screen time.
Me too.
I live on my phone. I'm on my phone. That's where the money is. That's where the pussy is.
Facts.
So where else am I going to be? Right? I'm on my phone. You see me. I'm always just on my phone, right? I have a phone addiction. But I'm not consuming a bunch of crap, right? I'm producing on my Twitter account. I'm constantly tweeting. Doesn't matter if it's just tweets. Doesn't matter if it's TikToks. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube videos. Produce.
Yep.
If you spend all those waking hours producing, eventually people will pay attention to you.
Yes.
And we live in an attention economy.
Yep.
This is the economy we now live in. It's no longer about competence like it used to be. It's not even so much, it's about attention and it's about network. It's those two things. It's who you know and it's how many people pay attention to you. So if you develop a phone addiction and you refuse to consume and you only create, you'll start to attract attention sooner or later. And when you can do that, there's usually lots of different ways to monetize it. So if someone came to me and said, I have nothing, no skills, no money, nothing, and I had to get rich, I'd say that's what you should do. You should get a phone and develop a phone addiction and you should start to create. Look at you guys. 6 months ago, you started to create something.
Yeah.
Now here we are. Bang. You have to create things in the world we live in. You have to create things. When you create things, you'll get attention, and you can always find a way to monetize attention. Jake Paul has monetized attention.
Yes. Yep.
That's all he's done. He hasn't made his money being the best boxer. He's monetized attention. You have to find a way for people to pay attention to you.
There's two things. One, you can never save yourself rich. I mean, I'm not saying this doesn't mean you have to be irresponsible with money, but the idea that you're going to save and one day be rich is garbage. It's never going to happen. You can't save yourself rich. If you look at,
not anymore anyway. Maybe in like fucking 1980 or some shit. Like if you had a nice corporate pension and some shit and you saved your money and put it in a savings account, maybe then. Yeah. Now it's a completely different ball game, man.
Completely different. You have to earn yourself rich. You got to get your income up. That's the first thing. And that's the most important thing a lot of people don't understand. And the second thing I say to people, the number one bit of advice I'll say for making money is when I was trying to make money, all I spoke about was money. So all my friends were different kinds of business owners. And if I met them, all we talked about was money. So if one of them had a window cleaning company, one of them had a food outlet, one of them had, it didn't matter what it was. We'd be talking about is how's business? Is it up? Is it down? Is there any way I can help you with this? Oh, you've got a window cleaning company. Well, he has a food outlet. Why don't you go clean the windows on his and he can give you free food for your staff? And it was always us trying to work together. And all we spoke about was money. If you're in a conversation, if you talk about ice cream all day, every day, you're going to learn a lot about ice cream. It's very simple. If for 6 months, everyone you talk to in your spare time talks about ice cream, you're going to know a whole bunch about how ice cream's made, flavors, how it's stored, how it's transported. You know everything.
1000%, man.
It's the same with money, but most people don't talk about it. They meet their friends. They talk about video games and Star Wars. A lot of people will say to me, Well, I agree with you, Andrew, but what if I do if my friends don't talk about money? And I say, well, you need some new friends.
Find some new fucking friends.
Find some friends who want to talk about money and sit and talk about money all the time, and you might come up with an idea, and maybe you can launch it together, and before you know it, you'll have money. So you're not going to have, and if you don't prioritize something, it's not going to enter your life, and money's exactly the same.
I'm going to tell you the most important things in life. First thing is health, because you don't have shit if you're dead. Doesn't matter how rich you are, doesn't matter how much you love your friends, doesn't matter how nice your girlfriend is, if you're about to die, or you're sitting in bed and you're fat and you're diabetic. Health is the most important thing. Second thing is the health and respect of people you love, friends and family. But most people actually have these. Maybe not health because they don't look after themselves. But most people, if you're watching this, you're probably relatively healthy. You probably have friends and family around you. The third most important thing is money. And it's money because money can buy you everything except for the top two things. What can money not buy you besides prolong your life forever? Even though it can help with health, it can't keep you alive forever. And genuine respect from friends or someone you love. Money is everything else. That's everything else is money. If you're not obsessed with money, then you're not obsessed with freedom. That's what money is. Money buys you freedom. Where am I? You don't need to know. Fact is, I go wherever the fuck I want. All the time I wake up, I want to go here, bang, I'm going to go. It's not, oh, I can't go because I just go. I do what I like because I'm fucking rich. If you are rich, you are free. And you are free to eat what you want, sleep where you want, drive the car you want, fuck the women you want, go to the places you want to go. It is freedom. If you are not rich, you are a slave. If you're watching this and saying, oh, well, I disagree. You're a slave. You may not feel like a slave, but you are a slave. You go and you do something you don't want to do in return for some money, and it's barely enough for you to have a house and eat. And that's all the slaves got. Somebody to sleep and something to eat. You are a slave. When I wanted to learn to kickbox, I went and found the best kickboxer I could, and I said, teach me everything you know. If you want to learn how to get rich, find the richest person you can think of and ask them how to get rich. Now, a lot of rich people aren't going to tell you. I might be the richest person you know who is prepared to tell you how to get rich. If that's the case, then you can DM me now at any time, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. If you know someone richer than me who's prepared to sit you down and explain everything there is to know about getting rich, then go talk to them. But you're not going to get rich on accident. Just like going to the gym, you never wake up and accidentally you're oops, never. You never get rich on accident. You get rich on purpose. You get rich on purpose with very specific habits, rituals, certain things you must do. Things that rich people know and you do not know. It's time to learn.
Subscribe for more content about how to get rich fast.
All of my friends and family think I'm wasting my time and won't be rich and should focus on college. I already made money here, so I know HU is legit. It's just a matter of time. How do I deal with a discouraging environment and not care about what people think of me?
Well, the first point I would make, and a lot of people tell me this here in Romania, because going to college is something that's forced on a lot of young people by their parents. And the question that I'm going to ask you, and that you should be asking yourself, and that you should be asking your parents first and foremost is, are your parents rich? Are your parents rich, telling you go to college is going to make you rich? Are your aunts and uncles and grandparents rich, telling you go to college and it's going to make you rich? Because at the end of the day, if you're taking advice on how to get rich from poor people, it's not good advice. And you can love your parents, you can respect your parents, but if they don't have any money themselves and they aren't rich, what business do they have telling you how to be rich and successful?
Correct. Some of our top students inside of HU are making less, say, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a month. If the people telling you to go to college are not making that kind of money, you ain't got to talk to them. So the discouraging environment can easily be dealt with in terms of you not caring what people think about you by your own results.
Yep.
If you're making money already, keep making money, and you need to educate them. Sit at the dinner table and say, you told me to go to college. I didn't go. My friend's going to college. He's doing the course I would do. He's broke. I made this much today. That's all it is. They care about you, and they're worried about you, but they're still stuck inside the matrix. They think with an old paradigm, and you need to awaken them to the brand new world. You're going to do that with tenacity. You're going to do that with hard work, and you're going to do it with results, with competence. You're going to turn up with money in your pocket, and it's very hard for them to argue with you when you're the one who's got the most money at the table.
You can't argue with...
Let me ask you a question. Think of everything you know. Everything you know. Where did you learn it from? All the information in your mind, your opinions, your thoughts, your views on the world. Where did you learn it from? Your parents, school, friends, family, TV, the radio, YouTube, the internet. They taught you all these things, right? Because we are all a product of the life we live. We live life. We see and we experience things, we hear things, we get information, we watch the news, and these become our thoughts and our opinions over time. If we hear something and then we experience something which aligns with what we heard, it's what we believe to be true. Let me ask you a question. All these people who have been telling you things, all these people who have been programming your mind, because that's what they've been doing. The people who have been teaching you things have been programming your mind. Do these people know how to get rich?
Are they rich? It's a serious question. You're going to university, you're going to your business professor, or you're going to do an MBA in business, or you're going to learn from these people, and they're teaching you how to be rich. Are they rich? No. They're not qualified. This is why I spoke about my wealth and my lifestyle at the beginning of this presentation, so you know that I am qualified. Most of the people who are programming your mind are people inside of the matrix. They can't teach you to get out because they're stuck inside of it themselves. They don't even see it. They're living inside of it. Like a fish doesn't see water. They're living inside the water. To them, water doesn't exist. It's just the world. That's the matrix. Most people inside the matrix don't even see it. That's why they can't escape. Anyone who is not rich cannot teach you how to become rich. Because if they knew how to be rich, they'd already be rich. And you know what rich people don't often do? Teach people how to get rich. Because why would they waste their time?
The time is now, gentlemen. I don't teach you how to get rich so I can make money. I already have hundreds of millions of dollars. I have more money than I can spend for the rest of my life. I teach you to get rich so you can help me resist the enslavement of humanity. You have to get important. You have to focus on yourself. Self-improvement is the answer to all things. They are going to regroup and we have to be ready for them. This is the time where the playing field is finally fair, where we stand a chance of promoting individualism, of ending their lies, destroying the empire of lies and the monopolization over information and finance. I need your help. They can kill me. They can kill other important people you look up to, but they cannot kill all of us. And the more of us there are, the harder we're going to be to kill. They can't fake rape charge everybody. They can't put a bullet in everybody. It is down to us. Doing that will directly reward you. Promoting individualism and peer-to-peer information sources will result in a higher crypto price. You will benefit from that because you will earn money inside of the real world, and I will teach you how to get as much crypto as possible before it goes to Valhalla. You can save your bloodline. We have 4 years to get it done. These 4 years will pass like sand in an hourglass in a matter of seconds. We must be mobilized now. I feel more mobilized, more emboldened. I feel more powerful and more motivated to fight now than I've ever been. We have not won a single thing. Truthfully, the battle has only just begun. And if you understand what is at stake, if you understand that the future humanity will look back at this period of time and understand that certain men stood up for individualism, stood up for their families and their children and the women they love. Certain men stood up and certain men bent over and cowered to the matrix machine, begging to be killed last. It doesn't matter how hard you beg. Everyone will die. Whether you die first or die last is unimportant. What is important, you're on the right side of history and on the right side of struggle. And I do not want any of you to feel like a battle has been won. Truthfully, the battle has just begun. Why is any of the other men watching this waking up each day if they're not trying to get strong, get rich, and fight their enemies? What the fuck you waking up for? What are you waking up for if you're not thinking, I need to be stronger, I need to be richer, and I need to engage the enemy? What the fuck are you doing? What do you want to do? You want to go on a boat and hang around with a bunch of Lily Phillips in Miami and then fucking take Instagram pictures and talk about how you're a boss? You think that fucking matters? Those girls will get on any boat with any fucking guy who can pay for it. So what the fuck you doing? You should be waking up. You should hit the gym. You should get as strong as possible. You should then decide you need to make some fucking money. If you don't know how to get rich, I will teach you. $49 a month, university.com. Once you've got money in the bank, once you're physically intimidating like you're supposed to be as a man, you need to find an enemy worth engaging. There's plenty of them out there. I need to get to war. Before I was fighting the Matrix, I was fighting in the cage. I had an enemy every 6 weeks. They told me who I was going to have to go fight. I've always had an enemy. My whole life, I had a name in my head. 87 times I had a name in my head of a guy I was going to go fight. Now it's the Matrix. Now it's an AG. Now it's DeSantis. Now it's Byron Donalds. I'll deal with all them. I'll deal with the Romanians. I'll deal with the British. I'll bust it all. I'll sit on another podcast 10 years from now. Or they'll kill me. But I don't know why any man is waking up without the inclination to be as rich as possible, be as strong as possible, and fight their enemies.
Yeah, so before we read the super chats, I just want to make this very clear because 99% of the questions I get asked is simply people trying to pass blame or find some external validation or motivation to convince them to do something they don't want to do, or some kind of democratic bullshit. You know, people ask me for advice and they say, Andrew, what should I do here? And I'll answer it and they'll go, but I don't think that would work because of this. Since when is this a fucking conversation? Since when is it? You asked me how to get rich. I told you how to get rich. Now you're telling me that I'm wrong while you're broke and I'm rich. This is not a conversation. This is not a democracy. I'm an absolute monarch. You were blessed by an answer. You should thank God I even wasted my time on a lazy fucking loser like you who's not going to take any action despite the fact I gave them the exact path to monumental riches and capability. You're still going to sit on your ass doing nothing, jerking off the fucking Pornhub. Now you want to have some kind of democratic back and forth about the bullshit.
And even worse than that, you don't even see it as a productive conversation. What you see it as is your one chance in your entire life to try to get one-upsmanship on somebody else. When Andrew or I are speaking, or if I bless a loser on X with a tweet reply, they're very, very quick to try to counteract what I said, try to discredit what I said, because they want that ratio on Tristan Tate. They want that one-upsmanship on Tristan Tate. I'll actually read out an example of some retard who I decided to reply to on X, and it super offended me that he didn't even read my reply. You know, I can't find it. No, it doesn't matter. Right, irrelevant. Doesn't matter.